All right, hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. This is Robert Smirking Gun Reviews. So I've been really thinking about trying to do something different for a little bit while I'm in between like Deadly Class and other shows that we do and movies that we do. I wanted to try something that I've been wanting to do for a while, and that's now that we're up to Avengers Endgame coming out this year. I never have like reviewed. I didn't review the majority of the MCU. Until recently. And so I thought, I have never watched them all in a row. Like, just gone, okay, this is what I'm going to watch until it's done, kind of thing. And so we're going to start with Iron Man 2008, directed by Jon Favreau, starring Robert Downey Jr., Gwyneth Paltrow, Jeff Bridges, Terrence Howard, Clark Gregg, and the cameo by Samuel L. Jackson. So, I mean, if you haven't seen this movie, what the fuck? So is this going to be spoilers? Because, if you haven't seen Iron Man by now, I don't know what to tell you. So, since I haven't seen this in a while, what was really great about watching this is seeing how far Robert Downey Jr. has come as Tony Stark. Getting to a reminder, because I mean, I literally probably haven't seen this movie in like 4 years or so. So after, having all these movies jammed up, after 10 years, seeing how he is in Infinity War and comparing it to this is just like mind-blowing. The character work that they started with here. That this little movie that they weren't sure that was going to work. And, you get Robert Downey Jr. and Jon Favreau directing, and you just come up with this perfect, I mean, it set the template for a lot of stuff. I mean, people use a lot of things from this movie in the other Marvel movies, that just started a formula, a working formula. It adapts over time, despite what some people may say. But this is where it all started, and it's just really, it's already nostalgic, isn't that for me? Like, even though it was like 11 years ago, just under 11 years ago that this came out, just being able to look and realize how far back the story goes, and this is the beginning. I want to say that Jeff Bridges in this, as Obadiah Stane, when people complain still about these Marvel villains, and it's like, Obadiah Stane was not a bad villain. And Jeff Bridges really, he doesn't play bad guys very often. At least, in the most of the modern movies. I don't know how far back he acted. I know he's been acting for a long time, so I don't know how many bad guys he's played. But it seems like he plays more good guys than bad. I mean, he's the dude, for God's sake. So to see him be this bad, and some of those scenes where he's like monologuing a little bit, telling Tony and Stark about how he put the hit on him and stuff. I mean, Jeff Bridges, come on. He needs to get the props that he deserves for this movie. And like I've always said, the Marvel villains, man, they're there for the, you get enough character, you need enough character to not, to maybe understand them a little bit. But other than that, they've always been about just something for the hero to rise above. And if they get some personality in there, that would be great. And that's what they do here. I mean, they show that this guy's like from, the time of his dad, and how they still think about things and how they want to do it, and just how tainted Obadiah gets. So I mean, I really do feel like the villain in this is a lot stronger than a lot of people give it credit for. The whole beginning scene of this too, where I love how they handled the quick beginning of him getting blown up, and then going back 36 hours. A lot of times those feel like, I don't know, like rushed. And even though it's not that long, they give us enough. They give us enough to realize, what Tony Stark is all about. So that when you get to that place and what he needs to know when he gets in that Jeep, to understand, like, once you go back to him in the cave, like, boom, you're rooting for this guy now. Like, he starts out cocky, and then, becomes somebody who wants to redeem his name and take his company back. So it's fantastic what he does in this. And another thing is Terrence Howard. I heard that he was difficult to work with, But I gotta say, like, he was pretty good as Rhodey. For what they gave him in this to be the setup, the guy that's gonna be War Machine later. I mean, they just had to establish him as a guy that I can see like believable as Tony's like best friend. And I have to say that he does remind me a lot more of the Rhodey in the performance somehow. Closer to the comic book version than Don Cheadle's. I don't think there's anything wrong with Don Cheadle's Rhodey, but Terrence really nailed it, and it's a shame that they couldn't get along or whatever happened on the set that he couldn't have come back. But oh well. I even like Gwyneth Paltrow in this. It's kind of just, I don't know. It feels like somebody took like most of her characters that she plays and then kind of gave her like more of a, I don't know, a slight edge to her. Not so, she can be blunt and she can be a matter of fact more than her usual movies where she's like, oh, kind of, I don't know. I don't know what the hell that was. But I really did like her here, and I did feel like he had chemistry with her quite a bit. And the scenes with them are really well done. And the special effects, man, they still hold up. I was watching this in like 2160p, but when this came out, I mean, this is stretching the 2160p capability on this. So it looked really good, but it wasn't. It was still more like 1080p. But everything still holds up so well. And you think that it's already been 11 years and they just keep upping it. Like, it looked good then and it looks even better now. And it's just another cool thing to think about, like, where it all started. I mean, like I said, the way Tony's hair is and everything, and the facial hair, it is like mostly the iconic Tony Stark look. But then as we see, like, him go through all these movies, he, becomes, the look changes slightly based on not just his age, but his experience and everything. And it's just so cool to realize this again. And I'm really glad I watched this, and I can't wait now to do the next one. If I'm forgetting anything important, like, yeah, I mean, the villains in this, besides Obadiah, were pretty, like by the numbers. Just Middle Eastern people, right? I don't know. I'm trying to think of things that I didn't like. You can see that Happy Hogan, played by Jon Favreau, smoked in this one. We also get our introduction to Phil Coulson, kind of the linchpin almost of, I don't know if linchpin's the right word, but like, he's kind of like that glue that's, that's holding the MCU together in a little bit, like, or at least he's the glue that connects everything, maybe. And it's great to see Clark Gregg at the beginning of this, like, showing he's at the beginning of this, and then how he says, like, this isn't my first rodeo to Tony later on, like, knowing now we can think differently if we watch this, like, timeline wise, like, so when Captain Marvel comes out, like, you'll get to see Phil Coulson handling Skrulls and Captain Marvel, so that way when you watch Iron Man and he says that, you'll go, oh yeah, like, he did, like, he'll, you know what I mean? Like, I like that when these movies come out, you can start to see them differently when you know about other events that are going on, like, either before or in however you say it, like, at the same time. So anyway, and then you get, of course, the cameo by Samuel L. Jackson as Nick Fury. I also like that they started S.H.I.E.L.D. in this first movie too, because S.H.I.E.L.D., even if you don't like it as a group or whatever, it's a big part of the overall Marvel universe. Like, S.H.I.E.L.D. is mentioned so and has its hands in everything, like, so it's hard not to mention them in everything, because they really do have this kind of just not clandestine, I guess. I mean, they're kind of outside the government, but inside the government, but getting off track. That there's something that they're just not going to be able to work around because of how S.H.I.E.L.D. works. So it's nice that they start everybody understanding S.H.I.E.L.D. right away. And that way, once everything happens and you get to the television show, it's almost like they knew, even back then, that they were going to start this now so that they could, use it later on as something bigger. And it's just really cool to see those beginnings. And Clark Gregg, of course, is great. So that's about it. I mean, the the movie is like now not in my top group of movies, like my top 5 anymore. It's slipped down kind of in like the low top 10, but it's still there. It's just that they've improved so much that it just couldn't hold the top spot forever. And it's just, like how I feel about Tony Stark kind of now, from when I started then, it still was a movie that I can't believe like worked. So anyway, that's it. That's the review for this. If you liked it, please hit the like button, comment, share, subscribe, all that jazz. Again, I'm so thankful we hit 500 subscribers. And that's kind of one of the reasons why I'm doing this. Maybe to try something different for people to, become subscribers that aren't subscribers, and just to do something different for the channel for the people who do watch pretty much all my videos. So we're trying something different. So anyway, this is Robin Smirking Gun Reviews saying we will be back with The Incredible Hulk next. And then after that, I believe it's Iron Man 2. We also have reviews for Deadly Class and The Passage Episode 3. So anyway, this is Robin Smirking Gun Reviews saying it's been a long day, and have a good one. Bye.